We are taking a look at some colder temperatures that are going to be on the way. We're also looking at conditions clearing out. We're going to talk about what's after this system coming up.
And the wheels are in motion for an electric rover to study climate change at the South Pole.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
A heavy, wet snow blankets the 4 states, closing a handful of businesses and schools today. This is KOAM News at noon. I'm Tanya Bach. Topping our first 7 minutes, the snow started falling Tuesday afternoon and kept falling through most of the night. But our temperatures barely dipped below freezing. Let's go to Chris Warner in the Skywatch Weather Center to see where we stand now.
Yeah, we're actually still pretty cloudy. We're still pretty chilly, but we are above freezing. And for the most part, we remained above freezing through the majority of the overnight hours and through the morning while the snow was falling. So as you can see, looking at 7th and Range Line, our camera there, it's cloudy. There's still snow on the ground. It's not all gone. And the roads are still wet as well. Live look at the MoDOT camera at 20th and Range Line. Looking back to the east, you can see still wet roads out there, but no snow cover on these roads. However, these wet roads are going to pose a different problem as we head into the overnight hours and into tomorrow. We're also looking at some patchy fog out there, even at the noon hour. There's not super dense fog, but some of us in extreme southeast Kansas, northeast Oklahoma, and back through southwest Missouri dealing with some fog across the area. Now, the Skywatch Storm Tracker is clear. Nothing on it to track after it got busy yesterday about 24 hours ago and stayed that way through the early morning. It has settled down. So yesterday we made it up to 39, starting at 29. So we are a bit below average for the high, but not that bad, not that far off for our lows in terms of the averages, and nowhere near records at this point. Average high is 45, which we managed to do on Monday. As you see, temperatures have been dipping down, but as we head into Friday, things are going to start to warm back up. In fact, they're going to warm up through the weekend. 36, well, through Saturday. 36, Iola, Chetopa, Miami, 33, Neosho, Carthage, and 34 in Lamar. As we go through today, high still pushing the upper 30s to near 40 degrees. We'll hold on to cloudy skies, maybe a stray flurry later tonight. We'll talk more about the rest of our forecast for tonight and the incoming system we're watching this weekend coming up.
All right, thanks, Chris. Well, hidden patches of black ice beneath the slush was the main concern for drivers on their morning commute, and we sent KOAM Shannon Becker on the road in southwest Missouri to check out the latest conditions.
Yeah, thanks, Tanya. We're here at Joplin's busiest intersection where it seems like business is back to normal of traffic. The snow really began falling Tuesday evening. A lot of the precipitation had already come as rain. It was 33 degrees still at 10 p.m. City of Neosho crews were out before midnight clearing snow, but it was not serious enough to cancel school. Neosho still had classes. Joplin, Carl Junction, Webb City, and MSSU. There were numerous slide-offs and crashes overnight. One tractor trailer on I-49 near Goodman, but no reported injuries. As most can tell, it's back to business as normal in Joplin at 7th and Range Line. I'm Shannon Becker for KOAM News Now.
Thanks, Shannon. For the latest road conditions and closings in your area, you can go to our website at KOAMnewsnow.com and click on the Weather Resources link. Now to Nation Watch, where there was some terrifying weather in the south. At least 14 tornadoes were reported along the Gulf Coast yesterday. One of them, east of Houston, caused extensive damage. Remarkably, no one was killed. Janet Shamalian is on the ground in Deer Park, Texas.
A tornado tearing across Orange, Texas. This couple make a run for it from their trailer, grabbing their dogs and diving into a ditch. They're okay, later saying they're thankful to be alive.
What the dude?
An hour west, a tornado ripping through Pasadena outside Houston, heavily damaging these apartments and ripping the roofs from nearby homes. Damage across the Houston area, a semi flipped on its side. Downed power lines and trees blocked streets, and this gym shredded. People hid in the restroom.
The metal was crashing, the glass was breaking out. It was extremely loud.
Fast-moving storm delivered wind gusts up to 50 miles an hour. And pounding rain flooded streets across a wide swath of the city. In nearby Deer Park, the tornado cut through a nursing home. The mayor saying all 62 residents evacuated safely.
Did you have any idea it would be this bad?
Not even close.
Edward Salazar owns this heavily damaged shopping center and told me he knew there were people inside at the time.
What was your first thought when you drove up and saw this?
I was worried about the employees, especially Little Caesars, when I saw what's happened to theirs.
But everyone was okay?
Thank God. They all climbed inside of the walk-in freezer and hid.
Lauren Green brought his wife to a doctor's appointment at the center, saying his teenage son survived riding out the storm in their car.
I tried to tell him to come inside. By the time I reached the door, it was, all you could see was like debris and stuff. So I was pretty scared for my son because he was inside his trunk the whole time.
Schools here in this community of Deer Park will be closed today as power is still out and many roads are blocked. Janet Shamlian, CBS News, Deer Park, Texas.
Well, several storm victims told CBS News that with all the damage, they are surprised and grateful that no one was seriously hurt. Well, the U.S. has reversed course and says it will now deliver up to 31 M1 Abrams tanks to Ukraine. Senior administration officials say they will begin working on plans to train Ukrainian soldiers on the tanks, but the delivery of them may take some time. The president's decision is a change in policy for the White House, which had previously said the Abrams tanks were too advanced to be effectively used in Ukraine. The decision follows last week's intense negotiations with NATO allies over the supply of tanks. Germany initially held out, but will now follow suit and begin shipping its Leopard 2 tanks to Ukraine. The move could not only help Ukraine fight off the planned Russian invasion, but is expected to help Ukraine launch a counteroffensive of its own to try to drive Russia out of the country. That's a look at today's top stories and weather in our first 7 minutes. Up next on KOAM News at noon, technology students design an electric rover for one of the coldest places on Earth. And later, we're making buffalo cauliflower in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen. Researchers in Europe say they've built a new device to explore one of the coldest places on Earth. As CBS's Tina Kraus reports, the team hopes it will open up new roads on the path to fighting climate change.
Antarctica is one of the most pristine places on the planet, and climate researchers want to keep it that way. So a group of technology students in the Netherlands has put the wheels in motion with an electric rover designed to collect climate data on the continent.
Currently, there's nothing like our vehicle existing in Antarctica, and there are no really electric vehicles in this environment.
Team Polar calls it the ice cube.
Our vehicle, as you can see, does look quite cubic.
A contraption that runs on solar power to do its research.
What they use now are these very large fossil fuel powered vehicles, which of course we want to transition away from towards a more electrified transportation system on the continent.
It's just a prototype for now, being tested in snowy Norway, but designers say the rover handled the icy, harsh conditions with ease. And the cold didn't seem to bother the electric batteries.
We really had no idea what to expect, so for us it was also a surprise when the vehicle fantastically outperformed our expectations.
Now they're working to lose the remote control so the rover can run on its own. But it'll be another few years before the ice cube is dropped into the frigid South Pole for more testing. Tina Kraus, CBS News.
Team Polar says the rover took 2 years to build, and they hope it will one day be used in groundbreaking missions similar to how Mars rovers operate on the Red Planet. Still to come on the KOAM News at noon, Mr. Food.
The buffalo wing craze continues with a new go-along that your gang will absolutely love. Really, no bones about it.
But first, we are tracking yet another system heading into this weekend and possibly even another one next week. We'll break down your full forecast coming up. Well, after the snow exited out of the area, we were left with cloudy and chilly conditions across the region. You can see chilly, well, you can see the cloudy conditions at least on our camera at 7th and Range Line. And if you look enough, there is a little bit of a glossy sheen to 7th and Range Line, and that is because Well, the roads, they're still a little bit wet, and that's going to be a concern as we head into the late night hours. And we take a look at the MoDOT camera looking at 20th and Rangeline, looking back east. You can see the same situation. The road is still wet, and in some cases, it's still fairly wet, but they're clear of any kind of precipitation, or at least the snow. And that's good. Taking a look at KDOT road conditions map, the good news is there's still some wet pavement around Yates Center and back toward Fort Scott, but outside of that, they're reporting clear roads. And on the Missouri side, compared to this morning, this is a significant change. As you can see, we have got nothing but clear roads across the state, across our corner of the state, which is good. Plow crews got out there, they hit it hard this morning, and they've been taking care of business. And it also helps that it stopped snowing. Skywatch Storm Tracker is clear. Looking out at 7th and Rangeline, again, cloudy, a little bit of fog out there. We're at 34 in Joplin, feeling like 25 with a west-northwest breeze at about 12. And we could still see an occasional gust up into the 15 to 20 mile an hour range today. 36 Iola, 35 Parsons, 36 Miami Chatopa, 33 Neosho Carthage, and 34 and in Lamar and Nevada at the noon hour. Going through the rest of the day, we're still looking at highs pushing into the upper 30s to near 40 for some of us. However, we're going to hang on to the cloud cover, so a pretty dreary day following the snow. And then there's a stray chance of a couple of flurries as we head into the early overnight, late evening, whichever phrase you prefer. If you're planning an evening out, this is where it gets a little more complicated with the water on the roadways. We could again see a couple of stray flurries between, say, 7 and 8. And then after that, it's going to be getting cold, and we'll start to clear out. And as we clear out, the temperatures will drop even faster. So that means that some of this could begin to refreeze. We're heading for a low of 22 degrees tonight. So if you are heading out this evening, if you're going to be out late, or maybe you're up early tomorrow morning to commute to wherever you need to go, just be cautious of black ice and additional slick spots. Even though the snow is gone, with this temperature, refreezing is a distinct, if not very likely possibility. And of course, as we lose the cloud cover overnight, that just allows us to get cold rather quickly. So this system says, see you later. Kicks on off to the northeast where they're dealing with even heavier snow than what we saw. And then the next couple of days, we stay okay. We're not looking too bad. And then we head into Saturday, and that didn't stop. Well, okay, so we're going to talk, though, about Saturday. Saturday evening, we're looking at showers developing, and then as the temperatures drop, that's going to turn into a wintry mix, then some light snow, and that could last into Sunday morning. So the good news is we're not anticipating significant accumulations out of that at this point. But make sure you take time, scan that QR code, or go to your favorite app store and search for the KOAM Skywatch weather app. That way you never miss a part of the forecast or any important alerts or data. All right, so we're up to 35 tomorrow, still kind of breezy, 48 by Friday, up to 52 Saturday until the temperatures begin to fall. Evening rain, again turning into a wintry mix, some light snow heading into Sunday morning. And then we're only 29 Sunday, down to 18. Then we warm back up to 37 on Monday. And then by Tuesday of next week, that's system number 2. That could bring us some wintry precipitation. Still far out, we're keeping an eye on it, but that's another round that could last into Wednesday morning. And then by Thursday, we're at 27, down to 5 Thursday night. We only make it to 16 by Friday. So after this second round of possible wintry precipitation rolls through, that'd be the third round of possible wintry precipitation rolls through. Temperatures drop significantly back behind that. And believe it or not, we're keeping an eye on the week after next, as there's an additional system with wintry precipitation that could roll on through. So obviously those both are still pretty far out. As I mentioned last week, between Friday and Tuesday, that's forever, meteorologically speaking. And so we've got a long time before next week's system or the one after that. But they're ones that keep showing up in the long range forecast, and we're keeping an eye on them.
All right, yeah, it seems like we'll get a little break and then it comes again, get a break and comes again.
Yeah, definitely something to keep an eye on. And even though we're not anticipating a ton of accumulation out of the weekend system, it's still going to be enough to cause slick spots, especially with temperatures dropping like that. So again, another time to take caution while you're out driving.
All right, thanks, Chris. We take this time to honor today's four-state hero, Private First Class Maurice Walker in the U.S. Army. The Oswego, Kansas native joined the 377th Parachute Field Artillery, fighting missions across Europe from 1943 to 1946. Walker earned 4 Bronze Service Stars and the Bronze Arrowhead for his service. To Private Maurice Walker, We thank you, our four-state hero. Did you know you could buffalo just about anything? Well, today Howard shows us a kick and take on cauliflower in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen.
A few months ago, I was having lunch at the original birthplace of buffalo wings, the Anchor Bar in Buffalo. While I was eating, I was thinking not only how popular these spicy wings are, but how much we love anything cooked with the taste of buffalo wings. Everything from soups to dips, even side dishes. To make this one, all we do is toss a head of cauliflower that we cut into florets with some oil and a little salt and pepper. Once that's mixed, onto a baking sheet it goes, and we'll bake it off until the edges start to get crispy. Don't be afraid to let them sort of caramelize, because that's what gives these a ton of flavor. While that cooks, we'll whip up a sauce to coat these with, which is the same sauce that Teresa and Frank whipped up in their Anchor Bar kitchen some years ago. Once the cauliflower is done, all we do is toss it with the buffalo sauce. Then onto a platter they go, topped with some crumbled blue cheese, and we have the taste of buffalo wings in a side dish that is second to none. You gotta go online and get the recipe for what we call buffalo cauliflower so you can be armed with a new go-along that your gang will go along with. I'm Howard in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen, where today we're looking for a classic way for you to say, ooh, it's so good.
I've never baked my cauliflower. I'll have to try that. You can find this recipe along with a lot more good food from the Mr. Food Test Kitchen online. Just go to our website at KOAMnewsnow.com. Here's a look at our four-state market prices.
All right, we're going to be all right from today through early Saturday, then some evening showers transition into a wintry mix, some light snow into Sunday morning, 29, warming up again Monday and Tuesday, and by Tuesday, another wintry system could be making its way into the area. So winter is not done with us yet. Still got a few surprises to throw our way.
Yes, so.
I'd like those overnight lows to go back up.
Unfortunately, are only going to get worse as we head into the end of next week.
But I'll bet eventually they go up.
Maybe this spring.
By July
Sometime,
or August,
in a few
certainly.
weeks they might.
Yes.
What do we have coming up tonight at 5?
Well, at 5, getting fit is the most popular New Year's resolution. It is every year. But the New Year is also a chance to see how fitness trends are changing. We're going to find out what's making the top 10 in Health Watch. Plus, some good news for the local economy as one Southeast Kansas county says the number of overnight visitors is back to pre-pandemic levels. And the Battle of the Badges is underway in Pittsburgh. Find out how you can participate. Hope you join us for those stories. A lot more, of course. It's coming up on KOAM News at 5.
All right, thank you, Dal, and thank you for joining us for KOAM News at noon. We'll see you right back here at 5 o'clock.